You can't call for sale by owners anymore. You can't call expireds anymore directly because their barriers are so far up. And the litigation and the lawsuits that are out there has just raised some angst against real estate agents in general.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to Referrals Podcast. Today's episode will be short and sweet. Like my partner in crime, Sherry L. Maher is going to join us today to disclose what is the number one biggest mistake that even top producers make. And we are going to explore what to do with your sphere, with your community, with your tribe, with your database, whatever you want to call the people that you know. We're going to dive deep into exactly what to do with those people so that you can do one thing: maximize referrals. What's the name of this podcast? Referrals Podcast. Here's the thing. You probably fake yourself out, and you probably have tried to convince yourself that you want to stay in touch with people and that you want to have conversations with people and that you want to build relationships for the goodness of building relationships. But let's be frank. The reason you want to build relationships, the reason you stay in touch with the people you know and the people you've met is because you want referrals. That's the truth. And what you've discovered is that you can't ask for referrals. You can't just blatantly assault people by asking them for referrals directly. You've noticed that doesn't work. And you've noticed that you are now in a different league. You're now in the NFL, which is the no friends left league, because you've been asking referrals of all those friends. And now when you go to Costco and you see a friend, they sneak around to the next aisle and try to avoid being seen by you because they don't want you to confront them with that awkward question of, how do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or real estate in the next 6 months, or, hey, I'm looking for, someone who's looking to do a financial plan in the next 6 months, or whatever it may be. There is a better way. There is a much better way. There's always a better way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's bring on the producer of Referrals Podcast, the engineer of Referrals Podcast, the genius behind Referrals Podcast, the incomparable and beautiful Sherry Maher. Welcome, Sherry.
Hey, I'm just glad we're recording this because you said that I was genius.
I call you a genius all the time. Are you getting used to it? Because I have to be careful with that, because then you think like you're so smart you don't have to learn anything. And
Really?
No. You're a learner. You're a learner and a grower, which is great. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, okay, we're here in December.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to talk about, we're at that time where it's like, okay, what are we doing next year? Right? What's the plan for next year? And I would venture to say that most people don't have that kind of in place yet. So
I hope they do.
A lot of people are saying like, oh, okay, I need to put together my business plan, right? And you don't say that, right? You don't ever say like, hey, let's put together your business plan. And I want you to talk about, like, you say that, you need to put together an appreciation plan. So in your mind, like, what's the difference between like a business plan and an appreciation plan, as you call it?
Yeah, a business plan is internal, in my opinion. Business plan is you planning out different facets of your business, like strengths and weaknesses of your business. And strengths and weaknesses are internal. What are our internal strengths and weaknesses? And then you're going to look at the opportunities and threats. This is the age-old SWOT analysis that's been with us since Drucker, I believe, brought it to the forefront 60, 80 years ago, whatever it was. And so opportunities and threats are external. These are, things that the market is presenting to you, things that pricing, inflation, the way of the world, the era of the consumer. That was one of the things I identified very early on in 2005 and 6 was the consumer was changing. The consumer was no longer attracted to number one or the best or the JD Power winner or the winner of any freaking award. Because there were so many awards that you could buy that the awards have lost their luster, like the best places to work. You basically fill out a form and you pay the application fee, and all of a sudden you're one of the best places to work in your area. And it's a game. It's just a pay to play type of gimmick. And what was happening is the generosity generation was taken over for the ego era. The ego era was, I'm the best, I'm number one, we're the best, we're Ford Tough, we're number one in JD Powers, we're number one in small SUVs, crossover electric vehicles, right? It's like they tried to figure out a way they were number one. I'm the number one agent in my office because you're the only agent in your office, right? And, literally your office, you could say you're number one agent in your office because you can only fit one person in your office or cubicle. So you are number one. Congratulations. And so that wore off, the ego era wore off, and gradually, and now we're fully affixed in the generosity generation. And the consumer now is much more in terms of, what kind of value are you giving me? I'm more interested in you being interested in me than I am in you being number one or producing the most widgets or whatever it may be. So we identified that as an opportunity very early on. And luckily it matched up with our values of love, generosity, and appreciation very, very well. And so we decided to spread the love and do generosity and express appreciation and do things that aligned with those. And that matched up with the generosity generation, and the rest is history. We're 2 best-selling books and a thriving business and record-setting Black Friday sales, and people are being attracted to this like never before. The business plan part of it is, I think you're going to look at your operations, you're going to look at your expenses, you're going to look at a helicopter's view of your business, of your staffing. We always kept a very high staff ratio, in my opinion. We were always 50-50. We would have 50% staff, 50% salespeople.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were they could do less of that, but we had a lot of money because we were very profitable because of the other aspect. The appreciation plan is it's almost entirely outward facing. The business plan is what you're going to do internally. Maybe you look at your logos and your message to the market and that kind of thing. But, the appreciation plan is, all right, what multimodal approach of communication are we going to use to express our appreciation to the marketplace? And that's the appreciation plan. Some people would call it a database plan. Some people would call it like a tribe plan or maybe, it's kind of the old communication plan from 7L on steroids. The communication plan was grade your database and then communicate with the different grades differently because the higher grades deserve more communication. Well, as you know, the 2 appreciation plans really over time took the place of the original communication plan because we were already talking to those top people more often because of the appreciation plan. So
yeah, but I also think that if you've never graded your database, like you don't even know where or who your people are, that's a great place to start.
December goal, a great December goal. And this is what I did every year. Yeah. Right. Every December. Now you got to realize when I first did it in December of like 99 or 98, I didn't have as many people. It didn't take very long to grade it. So I graded it very quickly. But what I discovered that December was how very manageable it really is to communicate with the different people differently, how easy it was, how simple. I only needed to make, 4 calls a week to the top people to stay in touch with all of them the proper way all year. When this was an epiphany for me, because when you have 1,500 people, you're thinking, I've got to, it's like anything, right? You come to class with bubble gum. What do you got to do? You got to buy bubble gum for everybody. And we were getting to the point with the number of people that we knew that it's like, man, we can't buy Melco calendars for everybody anymore. And not everybody deserves it. So how do we, because there were some people that were just really dotted line contacts we hardly ever spoke to. And then there were the Jeffs Crooks, Denise Mills, and, Scott and everybody that we had that at the top who were referring us a lot of business who deserve the Melco calendars, the Chiefs schedules, the Royal schedules, the college schedules and, so on and so forth. So we got to the point where we couldn't bring bubble gum for everybody. We couldn't buy pizza for everyone. So it's like, all right, who are we going to buy it for? And that was the A pluses and the A's. And, it sprinkled into the B's eventually. And that kind of thing. So it's, I think the segmenting of the database by energy and by, energy is a really powerful way because it's your most energetic are usually the ones that you're in synergy with. But grading it by referrals was the very first way I did it. Those who referred me the most were A pluses. Those who had ever referred me or connected me or introduced me were an A. And then the B's were potentials. These were people that I don't know, when in doubt, they were a B. And then a C was the casual, right? And we wanted to go from casual to causal with the friends and family group, that C group. And what I meant by going from casual to causal is we wanted to cause them to make a decision. And a big part of that decision was the Are You the Chosen One script that we've covered here on Referrals podcast a few times. And then, the D's in the beginning, I deleted them. This was when drip campaigns were just kind of starting and they weren't very good. Well, very quickly, we adopted a really powerful drip campaign of success stories. And so we never deleted anybody, really. And we would use the success stories to drip on everybody. And then on top of that, we had the appreciation plan eventually. So, I guess that's a long story of, how this started and why did it start is because we've got to communicate with different people differently. And when you do that, it's very manageable.
Yeah. And once you have an appreciation plan in place, how can that change somebody's business?
Well, I think the first question on that is really why should we have an appreciation plan? And maybe it's so logical, but okay. So it's why should we have an appreciation plan? Then you flip it and you go, well, why don't more business owners have a yearly appreciation plan for the people they know? And luckily that keeps me very well employed. That keeps me very busy throughout the year because they don't. But it's one of those you look at what changes have happened just in the real estate world over the last, let's go 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months. And it's listen, this is the way. This is communicating with friends is the way, and marketing to strangers is not. Communicating with strangers, Mama said, don't talk to strangers. She was giving us great business advice in that we can get plenty of business if we know how by communicating with friends. And, it's time to quit communicating with strangers, and it's time to quit talking to strangers, and it's time to start communicating with friends, and even more than ever, because, with litigation, with what's happening in the marketplace, is the fear of suing anybody in real estate is gone, right? Everybody's suing everybody, basically. So, at one time, the cold callers were like, let's go. We're going to call everyone, even if they're on the do not call list. We're going to call them because one person isn't going to complain. Well, 35 million later to KW, 10 million later to other company, and all these people paying millions in lawsuits on the do not call list. Well, all of a sudden it's like, all right, let's check that do not call list. And then like with everything else that's going on is that, people that are getting these cold calls are now voicing their frustration and anger at getting these calls on social media and calling out the people who are doing it. And as a realtor, I get text messages that says somebody's associated with NAR doing health plans all the time. Well, we used to just like, we'll just delete it. Now we're like, who is doing that? Like we're investigating it to get it to stop. We're going to figure out who the hell it is, and we're going to stop them one way or another. And guess what? It's starting to work. So the age old of bulk and mass and, this whole thought of, well, there's more people I don't know than I do know, so I should go after the people I don't know, is stupid. That is idiot. That is idiot. That is idiotic. What is it? Idiotic. Idiotic. It's not idiocy. I don't think it's idiotic, right? We're gonna invent new words here today. It is ignoramus, people. It is ignoramus. It is definitely idiotic. It is idiotic to even think that. The way to think is that I'm going to communicate with the people I know and grow the people I know in a very quality way versus thinking in quantity. The answer is quality, not quantity. So, I think, you look at the conferences, you look at the Facebook groups, these real estate groups used to be, what are the cold call scripts? Well, now they're not saying that, because now when you cold call, you used to get hung up on, and maybe they'd be open to communication. Nowadays, it's spewed anger. Like it's just like you can't be that direct with people because they're more angry. People are more angry. They understand there are different ways to do business. So when you're that direct, here's the other thing. When you're that direct, their barriers are up. You see a number that you don't know who it is on your phone. First of all, you never answer it.
No.
Second of all, if you're, for some dumb reason, you did answer it by accident, you are just literally like, I want to shut this down. I want to shut this person down. I'm sorry, you have the wrong number, even though it might have been the right number. And it's those days are going away, people. The days of door knocking and cold calling. And I know you're like, I get it. You should not badmouth any other way of doing business. And I say from stage a lot of times that like, it's like women, right? It's like women. There's a lot of women in the world, right? Like there's a lot of lead generation strategies. There's a lot of women in the world. And you know what? There are a lot of beautiful women out there. But I just happen to really, really, really love one woman, and that's Sherry Maher. And so it's the same way with referrals. It's like there's a lot of ways to do leads. I don't have anything against all the other women in the world. I don't. I respect them. I love them. It's great, but I really, really love one. I respect some of the other lead generation methods.
Yeah. Like
Google ads, Facebook ad. Like I get that because the people are at choice. But when it's interruptive, distractive, and downright annoying, we got to quit doing it, or they start looking at the rest of us as interruptive, distracted, and annoying. And guess what? That's happening. So, I do I hate cold calling? I don't, because I don't do it, and I mean, there's a better way. The better way is to write handwritten notes and have them call you. That's the better way. We discovered that in November. Best November in the history, 12 years of November, and we had the best one this year. Why? I don't think it was any magic sauce or secret. It was the fact of the matter is we went at it with handwritten notes, and people opened them and they called us, period. So, I think if you look at why should we have an appreciation plan or two, it's because this is the way of the world. This is the way it's going. But I wish everybody could see the bright side and the light side of this is that not only will you be more profitable, get more referrals and leads, but also you're going to feel better about yourself as a human being. This is the human approach to sales. And so you need to get on board and enjoy it and do it. And so many people have seen it. So many, people, we saw it with the pie days, right? Everybody was like, oh my God, this was the best pie day we've ever done. That's only going to increase over time. But other realtors are like, well, the pie day thing's just so overused. Is it with your sphere? Like, is your sphere getting pies from some other agent? Or would that scare the crap out of you if some other agent was giving pie? And by the way, it's coming. They will either go to your pie day or they will go to some other agent's pie day. Which pie day do you want them to go to? And this is just one example. We had over 330 agents giving away pies, gave over 12,500 pies. Costco should send me a freaking gift certificate. I'm telling you right now. And I should buy the biggest ass TV Costco has just from how we helped Costco make a bunch of money on pie day. But anyway, so, $6.99 for, a pie that big.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I hope they keep that. I hope they don't let the quote unquote inflation stuff get in their way. But the whole point of all that is use the momentum that you're seeing in the marketplace for things like pie day. And so how do we do that? Well, we've been preaching and teaching this for 10 years now in event mastery and in self mastery and relationship mastery and how it all meshes together. So I just think, why should you have one is because it's easy to implement. It's a simple plan. I'm going to give you at the Yaps Workshop. By the way, I encourage everyone here to go to yapsworkshop.com. If you're an RMA, it's part of your package. You get it for free. If not, then we've made it very, 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 very affordable. And we will give you 2 52-week plans for your database. For everyone we're going to give you a 52-week plan. For the best people we're going to give you a 52-week plan. So we're going to give you a yearly appreciation plan. We're going to give you a yearly ambassador program. And the yearly ambassador program, why do you have an ambassador program? Is because we want to keep our ambassadors ambassadoring for us. And I'm telling you something about ambassadors that a lot of people don't realize. Ambassadors are going to speak highly of someone and refer them willingly. You want it to be you. But if you stop communicating, and trust me on this, this is me talking from experience, and I don't want you to feel the anger, hurt, and want to hit my head against the wall that I felt about 20 years ago when I stopped staying in touch because I moved out of that circle a little bit with a couple of people, and they started referring a different real estate agent, right? I deserved it. I quit talking to them, So, and completely forgot because it just wasn't in the circle that I was thinking of. And, I don't want you to feel that. Well, that's the thing about the yearly ambassador program is we know the top people deserve their own communication plan. And that's what the yearly ambassador program is, right? Yap. That's the top Yap. And then we have the all Yap. The all Yap is the all yearly appreciation plan that is for everyone And in some cases, it's the greatest opportunity in the world to reconnect with these people that maybe you haven't talked to in a long time. And that's the juice under the all Yap, the yearly appreciation plan. And here's what I love. If you'll just embrace this year, if you'll just show up at the Yaps workshops and just take my 2 plans, and then you go, you know what, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. You put your personal touches on it. But here's what I want you to know. You can do these 2 plans every year for the rest of your career and know you are maximizing the number of referrals you can get from your database. How much easier would you sleep? Would you have peace of mind about your next piece of business if you knew without any shadow of uncertainty or doubt that you were communicating with everyone that you knew in the exact proper amount of way to maximize referrals? How would that feel? Imagine every day you're just like, oh, I need to make these 4 calls today. You make the 4 calls. I'm worried about my database. I'm worried about my friend listing with somebody else. I'm afraid they're going to go use a different financial planner. I'm afraid they're going to go use a different lender to refinance. I'm afraid they're going to, whatever. And it's like, no, you called those 4. That's what was on your plan for the day, and you're done. And you go do whatever the heck you want. And I tell you right now, you can get by with an hour a day throughout the year for your database. And I will tell you, there's some weeks it's an hour a week. That's all you need. And you can maximize the number of referrals that you get from your database, from everybody you know, and also your ambassadors. So it's I'm excited about it because we've tweaked it for 2024. And it's this is the joy of having thousands of people in different levels of implementing this, is we learn as much from them as we teach them. And the one thing that I really love is the way that the sponsor partners here's the thing. What if you could, name a marketing campaign that you could actually get paid to implement? Is anybody going to pay you to cold call?
No.
Is anybody going to pay you to door knock?
No.
Right. Is anybody going to pay you to put together some postcards and send it out to a neighborhood? Is anybody going to pay you to advertise? Literally, here, I'll give you $1,000 to go and do Facebook ads for yourself. There's nobody, but what if I could outline a plan for you that the plan would actually make you money? No, like you would get paid just to do the plan, because there are people who want to do the plan with you, and you would get paid on the leads and referrals that are generated from the plan. Making money, and it's 100% legal. You're not going to get any do not call $10,000 fines. You're not going to interrupt anybody. You're not going to distract anybody. You're not going to annoy anybody. And in fact, you're not going to make anybody feel awkward. You're going to make everyone you know feel awesome. And when they feel awesome, they're going to refer you business. And that's our entire mantra in a nutshell, is that, don't make people feel awkward, make them feel awesome. And it's easier than you think. And there are people who will pay you to partner with you to help people feel awesome. So why shouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we do that?
We should do that.
Everybody should do that.
We should all do that.
Everybody should do that. I'm so convinced. And what's great is watching the big real estate conferences over time, how it's evolved. It used to be about the different scripts and the different sales techniques and the different things you could do to people. And these great scripts for converting for sell by owners, these great scripts for converting, whatever it is. And here's the thing, you can't call for sell by owners anymore. You can't call expireds anymore directly, because their barriers are so far, and the litigation and the lawsuits that are out there has just raised some angst against real estate agents in general. So you know what? We gotta kind of tiptoe around a little bit more than we ever have in the past. And it's like, well, we don't have to tiptoe around our friends. We can walk and strut and come in like a big bad and just like have a ton of fun. I don't know. It's like I said, it's been interesting to watch the big conferences and how the Facebook groups, everything's about touching base with your database these days. And it's like, welcome to the generosity generation, everyone. I just want to welcome you with open arms. And I'm glad you came, even though it took you freaking 15 years to come this way. But I just want to welcome you. I just want to say, you are welcome in the Generosity Generation. Join us at joingengen.com. Please come eat our meals, drink with us, take our referrals, and, have your way with our women, and just enjoy the Generosity Generation. I'm just kidding about the have your way with our women.
For anyone not paying attention.
Yeah. I always catch people. I have a dry sense of humor that people really have to they kind of have to get me in a weird way. If you're ADD, ADHD, you're all with me. I get you. All you guys, we because they like that quick. It makes them go, oh wait, that hit a piece of my brain that hurt a little bit, right? So everybody should go to the yapsworkshop.com, right? Go to the Yaps workshops. They're Thursday, and then next Thursday, I'm going to give you a good solid hour and a half, both of those days. I'm going to go into detail. I'm literally going to go through the 52-week plans in detail, help you with how it's going to look, what it's going to, every week's going to look like, what it's going to work. I'm going to give you the national holiday calendar for the year that we use as a great reference for reasons to call and reasons to do things. And just diving deep into it. And what you're going to find is that this is you're going to find that it's a very simple genius plan. And it's not genius because it was a moment of brilliance by Michael Maher. It's more about excellence. Excellence is brilliance plus resilience. Brilliance plus resilience equals excellence. And it's like, all right, we got brilliance. And it's like, all right, over time, resilience, keep doing it. Well, I believe this is the 23rd Yaps that we've done. So think 23 years of Yaps. You're getting the right answer at the right time at the end of 23 years. Like, where was this when I was starting in the business?
Yeah.
It would have saved me years off my life. It would have saved me so much. I read over 2,500 business books. I've spent millions upon millions on conferences and seminars and products and everything else. And I've taken all the good and I've weeded out all the stuff that is just ridiculous and, kept the good stuff. And basically this is like the human approach to sales on how do we be an awesome person? And the way to be an awesome person is to make as many people around us feel awesome. And, making people feel awesome is easier than you think. So,
and you're going to prove it.
I prove it every year
at the workshop. I love it.
I prove it every year, my dear. I'm telling you. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's basically like, how to be the best friend in the world to as many people in the world, and it's I don't know. It's awesome. I mean, like I said, it's loving, generous, and appreciative. And it is the manifestation of those three values on a daily and weekly basis in your schedule, in your calendar. And the result is more referrals than you could ever dream possible. So
I love it. Like you always say, you take care of and appreciate what you have, and then you'll be given more. And so if you say like, oh, I only know 150 people or 200 people, okay, that's where we're going to start for 2024. But if you communicate with them and treat them the way that they should be treated, then when we come back this time next year to do this again, you're not still just going to have 150 or 250 people. You're going to have 300 people, 400 people. It's going to multiply and multiply because it's attractive, and the people that will refer people that they know.
Well, in fact, one of the things I am going to cover in the Yaps workshop is small database. What should I do? New to the area. What should I do? And I have those answers for you because guess what? That was me. Right. Yeah. So I've experienced that, and I can show you how to grow that very quickly, in a powerful way. And what's interesting is I can show you a way to do it where the people around you actually think higher of you than you do yourself, to the point where you'll have to think higher of yourself to catch up with what the people around you think of you. And honestly, that was my journey. And, think about that for a second. What if all the people that were in the room all thought of you as more influential, powerful, successful than you thought of yourself being? Right. And then after a conversation with them, you're like, wait, dang, you know what? I'm doing some good stuff here. And I'm kind of loving this feeling. So there you
Awesome. This was good.
Well, Sherry Maher gives it 2 thumbs up. She gives it 5 stars. Have you given Referrals Podcast 5 stars yet? You should rate and review us. When you write your review, I have a little secret for you. Put your contact information in the review, because people will refer you. And you know what? They want to refer people who think this way, who do business this way. They want loving, generous, and appreciative people to take care of their people. And I love it. And then look for announcements coming soon about our CRA designation, certified referral agent. You're going to be blown away by what we're doing with that. Good stuff. And look for details to come soon. And what's funny is we already got like 10 people who signed up, and it's not even out there. So that's a true story, by the way. Somehow they found the page, and we're talking to Kajabi about how the heck that happened. But anyway, good stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the apps workshops. If you're an RMA, make sure you look for the email to register for that. You've got to register for this one because of the format we're doing. And then if you're not an RMA, guess what? If you sign up for RMA, Referral Mastery Academy, you get to get in to YAP's workshop for nothing more than your RMA membership. And you're going to get 3 event masteries next year. You're going to get an energy mastery. You're going to get 30 mornings, sweet dreams. You're going to get all of our challenges. We have 2 more challenges that we're adding. By the way, doesn't cost you anymore. We're adding those more. And if you're a real estate agent, we're embracing you more than ever before. Now, Referral Mastery Academy has a, drum roll please, has a agent track. So agent specific courses that we are launching: buyer agent mastery, seller agent mastery. And it's going to cover everything from lead generation to open houses to, buyer consultation. Yeah. Buyer, the best buyer's consultation in the history of the world will be gone over. And then on the seller side, we're going to talk about lead generation, how to get them on a daily basis. And then we're also going to talk about, seller consultations, listing presentations. What are the differences of those two? We're going to talk about how to get referrals during the process, communication systems for once you have it. We're going to talk about a lot of great things. So I've got one little idea, one little thing. I'll give it to you right now. You're a real estate agent. What have you been doing? Man, how are we doing on time? All right, we got to be quick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this to you, and you're going to thank God that you were on to the very end of this podcast. If you're a real estate agent, listen up. This is Agent Track. We're doing bonus stuff for agents all year long in 2024, and I can't stop myself from just starting right now. And that is, so on your descriptions of the property, forever, people struggle with that. They write in all caps and it annoys everybody. And they put links in there and it gets kicked out by MLS, and they have all these different things that are problems. And now they're like, oh, I'll let Chat GPT write the description, and they sound horrible. Everybody in the world knows that AI wrote it, and it sounds like a freaking computer wrote it. The computer's not buying a house. So what is the answer? This is the same answer that we've used for 25 years. And the answer is, you're going to ask your sellers what were the top 3 reasons that they bought that home in the first place. They're going to give you 3 great reasons. You're going to put in the description per seller, comma, and then in quotes, say those 3 reasons that they bought the property. Now, here's what research shows. research shows that the reasons the seller bought the property are going to be the exact same reasons the new buyer buys that property. School district, pool in the community, clubhouse, whatever it may be. Let them say it and put in the description per seller. And then here's the other thing. When you send the information to the seller, they love the description. You know why? Because they wrote it. So it's like a win, win, win. But there's like very few people that are implementing that at this point, and you're missing out. You're missing out. It's not research based. It's hype based, which is going down the AI and the chat GTP or GPT path. And it's like, oh, we got a new tool to write crappy descriptions. And it's like, how about we write really good ones that speak to the potential buyer? And that is having the seller give you those top 3 reasons. And maybe you can even go further and say, what is the thing that you love about your home the most? And then that is your description, and leave it at that, and then get people in. So there you go. Agent Track, part of Referrals Podcast. What a concept. Realtors, I'm coming for you. I'm a realtor. We've been in the trenches. I've been in the trenches. Referrals in general. We've helped everybody from farmers and gardeners to Fortune 500 people. And, this year we're going to help those people, but we're really focusing on helping the real estate industry because it's near and dear to my heart. I speak realtor. I bleed realtor. I bleed realtor red, man. And I'm excited about 2024 and the Agent Track. So hope you'll join us. yapsworkshop.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been awesome. Sherry Maher, you're always awesome. And thank you for being our guest host here today on the Referrals Podcast.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yay, people. All right. And you know what? I know what the next Referrals Podcast is already, and you're going to want to tune in. So we'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. Love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time.